Welcome to the Sounds of Encouragement, the place for creatives to find encouragement and support to help you stay motivated, creative, and inspired to use your craft to more fully impact your community. Thank you for tuning into this episode, and don't forget to subscribe so you get notified of future episodes. If you find value in these podcasts, please share with friends or colleagues. To keep this production ad-free, please share your support at www.buymeacoffee.com/encouragement and share a one-time gift or check out the member levels. I'm your host, Melissa Slocum, and I thrive on encouraging other creatives through teaching music, small business coaching, podcasting, and so much more. Find out more at www.musicgrow.com and subscribe to be part of a growing creative community supporting one another. Don't forget to check out the links in the show notes. And remember, I'm here for you, so you can be there for those who need you the most. Enjoy the show. Donna Hughes has written north of 500 songs. She has released 6 albums containing mostly original material. Nominated for Songwriter of the Year in 2024 and 2025 for the SPBGMA Awards, her songs have been recorded and performed by multiple Grammy winner Alison Krauss and Union Station, Grammy-nominated band The Seldom Scene, Wyatt Rice's solo album with vocals by Daylan Bradley and Russell Moore, Caroline Owens, The Snyder Family, Kati Penn, Kim Robbins, Linda Lay, Wilson Banjo Company, Amanda Cook, Darren Beachley, AJ Lee and the Molly Tuttles, Grass Country, Carlos and the Banditos, Nu-Blu and the 2004 country Colgate Showdown winner Heather Shelley, as well as Bria Kelly of The Voice and America's Got Talent, Newtown, and various other artists, both well-known and undiscovered around the world. Donna recently received a Lifetime Achievement Award and an award for her Naomi Wise video at the Sunset Film Festival. She wrote the words and music for the Naomi Wise song based on the life of a girl from her area who died in 1808. The video features Jenee Fleenor on violin, who was awarded the CMA Musician of the Year for the last 4 years in a row, who also was the first female ever to win. In 2014, Donna was awarded the key to the city of Trinity, where she resides, from the late Thomasville City Councilman Jesse Hill as a gift of honor for all of her accomplishments. Donna's songs have been written about every subject, from being stuck at Walmart to dogs on chains. She tries to balance life through song from the spectrum of emotions life has to offer, from hilariously funny to extremely sad. Donna has also judged songwriting contests and conducted songwriting workshops around the nation. Donna's career received a huge boost when the late and legendary Tony Rice approached her about producing an album for her, which he did, entitled Gaining Wisdom. Her next CD after that, Hellos, Goodbyes, and Butterflies, was produced by the late and extraordinary J.D. Crowe. Donna's more notable appearances have included private performances for race car giant Richard Childress, opening for David Bromberg at B.B. King's in New York City, playing the world-renowned music festival Merle Fest, playing the Bear Trap in Wyoming, the Ossipee Festival in Maine, the PBS Song of the Mountains in Marion, Virginia, the PBS program Live from the Denison Lodge in Dubois, Wyoming, multiple performances at the Bluebird Cafe and Station Inn, both in Nashville, multiple times at Eddie's Attic in Atlanta, opening for Marty Stewart, at a premier dinner club near Washington, D.C., known as the Birchmere. Donna has also opened for many country stars, such as Ricky Skaggs at Dollywood, Jerry Douglas, Sam Bush and Tony Rice on their solo tours, Joe Diffie, Gene Watson, and numerous other popular high-profile people and venues. Donna is an award-winning realtor in North Carolina and enjoys spending her spare time on her granddaddy's third-generation farm with her Belgian horses, her basset hounds, beagles and other rescue animals, and painting barn quilts. Please welcome my guest, Donna Hughes. Welcome to Sounds of Encouragement. I'm your host, Melissa Slocum, and you just heard a little bit about my guest, Donna Hughes. Donna, thank you so much again for your time today.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for having me as a guest. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. We did a special podcast episode for one of your newest songs, and so I want to make sure that we mention at the top of this episode, go listen to Donna's newest release called Divided We Fall. And I will link it also in the show notes for this particular episode as well. It is an incredible song for this period of time that we are all living through right now. So go listen to that interview as well and listen to that entire song. We play the entire song in the other episode, so I hope you'll go listen to that one. But in this particular time that we have, we want to talk also about encouragement and inspiration and what has been encouraging for you. And a lot of times I like to ask about past encouragement and what was encouragement like for you, maybe as a child, or who were some encouraging people in your life that got you kind of to where you are today? Or were there particular people or pivotal moments that were particularly encouraging along your journey? So what has encouragement been like for you in your life?
I just have, I have the great fortune of having had very supportive parents, my mom and my dad. Of course, my dad's no longer here, but they were extremely encouraging. And I think that really is important with children. I think they need all the encouragement in the world because nobody starts off anything. Nobody's awesome when you start doing it, and you're very bad. You're very bad, and you have to not be afraid to be terrible. And, I'm sure my parents suffered quite a bit with all the noise that I made through the years, but they were extremely encouraging, and it was always great to have that encouragement. And I don't know that all children have that, and it's sad, but like I was mentioning to you the last time we spoke, when I would go out and as I made my way to bigger and bigger things all the time, through the years, my journey took me to open for a lot of different artists or share the stage with a lot of artists, writers rounds and other things, co-billing with other artists. And I always ran across people that I would just go, whoa, how come they're not famous? Or they would sing a song and I would just be in a pile of tears, just melt. It would melt me just like, oh my gosh, that was the best, just overwhelming, awesome feeling to, have someone write a song that can just really touch you in that way, whether it's funny or sad or whatever. And so I met a lot of really inspiring people that way. And there are just so many out there, there are so many out there. So support your local live musicians. That's very important. Have their start somewhere, has to start somewhere. But that was hugely inspiring for me is a lot of the inspiration I got was once I started going out and doing shows and seeing these other artists out there, how amazing they were and gifted. And it wasn't for me, like, oh, I want to have as many followers as that person. Or it was always like, I want to make people feel like that person made me feel. That was always where I was coming from. I was like, wow, I want to write a song that makes people feel like I just felt. I always found my inspiration that way.
And you had mentioned in our other interview too, that both of your parents also knew music. Your mother was a classical pianist and trained as a classical pianist. And your father was a little more into country and guitar. Talk a little bit about
bluegrass.
Talk a little bit about growing up in that musical environment.
Well, my mom had her music that she preferred, which was always classical. And then my dad always had music that he preferred, which was like Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. And I don't know, growing up in a household with such a vastly different, with such a huge spectrum of musical taste, if you will, it's really what a lot of music scholars teach is for you to expose yourself musically to expand your horizons and expose yourself to many different types of music. Because if you only listen to one type all the time, your brain is locked into just those chords and families of chords. And so maybe, and when I did start putting out music in the bluegrass genre, bluegrass is a small pond, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a big fish in a small pond. And one of the reasons I did so well in that little genre is because I think my musical exposures enabled me to write songs. People were like, wow, how'd you do that? I mean, people were shocked that I would put these crazy chords in a song. They'd never heard that before. And it was probably because I was exposed to so many different types of music growing up.
Sure. It can be really discouraging, I feel like, to, be a performing, gigging musician. And a lot of parents actually are the ones who are like, well, you can never make a living doing that. You need to go out and get a day job, or you need to go do something different and pursue something else. So what was it that made you stay with music, and what kept you encouraged to keep pursuing that?
It always goes back to the next song, the next
Mm.
opportunity to grab someone emotionally. I mean, I wrote songs probably 25 years ago that I'm still playing out in venues now that people still request. It's amazing.
Wow.
And one of the things I did one day, which was fun, so I sat, and for some reason I got the idea to type in my song titles, and lo and behold, I kept coming up with these bands all around the world doing my songs. Like there's
Oh,
a band
wow.
there's a band in Slovakia that did my song "Where Are You, Darling," and they nailed every note of it, note note. I mean, they did the greatest job.
Wow.
And there's a lot of bands in Japan that like my songs, and there was a band called Pony Chime
Wow.
singing one of my songs in an airport in Japan.
Oh
I'm
my
not kidding.
goodness.
Yes, Japanese folks love the bluegrass and the roots music. So I found a lot of bands doing songs that I had written. It was a thrill because
Mm.
there's no greater honor than writing a song and
Yeah.
having another band want to do the song.
Yeah.
So that was a thrill to me. But I'll never get over wanting that. I'll never get over craving that feeling of writing a song and watching somebody break down or laugh either way
Yeah.
at a show that I've got a few shows coming up this year that I'm doing around locally. And I just can't wait because I can't wait to turn loose some of those new songs I've done and see how people react to them. That's where songwriting is for me. I mean, it's that reaction, it's getting that reaction. Always knowing that somebody else can relate to what you're feeling is just always good. That we can relate to each other as humans, like you're saying, common ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you're writing a song that nobody saw it coming, that it would either hit them with tears or laughter, but that person's thought those same thoughts. If you hit them with that, and that we're all human when we can relate in that way. So songwriting for me kind of makes me relate to other humans.
It's such a different and wonderful experience to perform live in front of an audience, or to be an audience member listening to your favorite musicians perform, because there is that communication back and forth that you just don't get from listening to streams or listening to albums. Not knocking people buying albums, please go buy albums, but and please stream, but it is different. And so I love that you gain that sense of energy and interaction from playing live, and that's part of what encourages you and inspires you, which really must have been difficult during COVID, not being able to perform live. Talk about that time. What was that like for you?
Well, for a few years, I really didn't do that much with music. I was selling real estate. It was so busy. I mean, there were so many people wanting to shift around and move with that interest rate being low. And then when things slowed down is when I started picking back up. I know that I played a whole bunch of restaurants and bars and doing nothing mostly but cover songs. And I had never done that before. So it was kind of good for me to get out of my comfort zone. The whole reason I think I started writing songs in the very first place was so I didn't have to do cover songs and have someone sit there and go, "You ain't no Dolly Parton."
Right.
She messed that song all up. But anyway, if I write my own songs, I don't know if it's messed up or not.
Right.
But I took a lot of time to develop my catalog of cover songs, and I was thrilled to death that I could learn that many. Because when I first started playing, I was like, "There's no way I can learn that many," but I can do a ton of them now. Not saying I should, but that's been excuse me, I spent a lot of time that year learning covers. And then of course now I'm playing piano in my church again. And they
Okay.
have all learned to jump in and hang on because I play by ear. Don't always play it in the key it's written in.
That's okay.
So every once in a while we have to scrape somebody's tonsils off the rafters, but
That's okay too.
or off the floor. But but I think it's great for a musician to be challenged in whatever way challenges them. And for me to play for church, that's a challenge because you're trying to get a whole group of people to sing what you're
Yes.
playing. It's funny. It's really bad though when us ear players
Yeah.
start playing a hymn and you actually morph it into another hymn. You didn't realize you did that, and they're all looking around like, "What is the song? I thought I knew the song." I've done that at least once or twice, but they were warned this might happen. So
Advent, Easter, yeah.
but I do have my finite number of songs that I have that I can do in church, and I told them that too. But it's actually a lot longer than what I thought initially. So I'm pretty proud of that too. Hymns. I grew up hearing these hymns.
Yeah.
When you hear these hymns your whole life, you can play them with your eyes closed. So luckily for me, the stint of the restaurants, learning the covers and playing the church music has kind of helped me to write these songs a lot more efficiently now.
Sure.
I've been doing it forever, but that's helped me more than anything.
Wow.
So those people who want to write songs who maybe play by ear or want to challenge, it's easier to write songs when you are able to challenge yourself in many other ways as well.
Yeah.
Learn a bunch of cover songs, learn a bunch of, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah. Now, I also know from talking to other creatives who have composed or who were writing songs during that lockdown period, a lot of them felt like that was a very creative period for them. And they actually wrote a lot during that time. Did you find the same?
The Corona beer song was the only thing I had really time to write about.
Yeah. We're going to hear that in just a little bit, but
that is like truly a time capsule. It's as much as I hate hearing myself and as excruciating as it is, I can always go back to that song and just laugh thinking how scared we all were. The fact that there was no toilet paper, and the funniest line is there is a ruckus down at the Walmart. That's how it starts.
Yes.
I wrote a song years ago called the Walmart checkout line, and it's about, have I pointed you to that one yet?
Not yet.
People always ask me for that one. I'll have to send you a link.
Okay.
But the COVID song, the Corona beer song, was a follow-up to the Walmart song.
Okay.
So that's why it starts off, there's a ruckus down at the Walmart. I'll have to send you the Walmart checkout line song. Like I said, people ask for that because it was one of those songs where I wrote it because people said, "Oh my gosh, all you do is write these sad songs. You make me so sad."
Yeah.
And I had to write something funny. So that's what I came up with.
Which brings up actually another really interesting question that I like to ask people too. And I think people who write, who are creative, I think we get approached often by well-meaning fans who say, "Oh, you should write a song about this, or you should write a book about this, or you should write a play about this." And it's like, how do you deal with that? Because that's sort of like, well, why would you expect me to write something that I don't maybe have experience with or don't know anything about? So how do you deal with like expectation versus what's really encouragement for you?
I just tell people, if you ask me to write a song about an apple, it might come out about an orange or a banana.
There you go.
But I can try. I mean, and I'll even do that with my own thoughts. I mean, I'll even have a thought that I'm going to write about, a bus, and it comes out and it somehow comes out about a train. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain how the mind works. And I tell you what's really scary right now is these AI songs that people can come up with. They're not very good. I mean, you can tell they're AI.
Yeah.
And it's because they're so I don't know, there's a lot of words. They're usually very wordy. They're very wordy. A song will have like a melody and a chorus. And if you need to stuff some more words in there that you don't want to keep on repeating the same melody and chorus over and over again, you stick in there a bridge.
Yeah.
Like this last song I wrote called Fork in the Road that you haven't heard yet. But I had so many words, and I'm like, oh, somebody's just going to get fatigued hearing the same melody line over and over again. So I stuck a little bridge in there, which is an alternate melody, of course. But the AI will have like 6 or 7 different melody lines. And you're like, and it doesn't stick in your head very well.
Yeah.
Because there's too many different melodies. lines. It's the AI doesn't know that that's not correct.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not worried about AI taking any of our jobs because it really isn't that good or it hasn't been that good yet. And I really do feel like human beings need to hear and see human
they're
beings up
humans.
there perform. Like I'm not gonna go to a concert written with music written by an AI, anything, you
Yeah.
know? So I'm still going to stick with the human musicians and the human songwriters. So I know people are afraid of AI in some respects because of that, and they feel like it's taken all the jobs. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know.
It gives me a headache trying to figure out what the AI is doing with the song.
Yeah, yeah,
And well, I tell you, like always before, if I like a song, I know I like a song if I can remember it.
yeah.
I'm an ear player. So if I hear a song and
Mm-hmm.
I like it, it stays in my head. And I can literally just go right to the keyboard and play it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
immediately. And it sticks in my head. And that goes with my songs as well. If I write a song and I can't remember it 5 minutes later, it was terrible and I need to let this go to the trash can. But so the AI songs, I've never had any of them stick in my head. They've
Yeah,
just never been able to. I've never been able to call them back up.
yeah,
We're so complex. It was almost too good,
yeah.
too complex.
There are a lot of creative people in all different creative fields who go through periods of struggle or hardship, or maybe a writer's block of some sort or a creative block. What encouragement do you have for creatives who might be going through a hard time right now?
Well, I've gone through a few of those.
Yeah,
And for example, the younger a person is, the fewer resources they may have access to.
yeah,
And I know that in my younger years, um, I hit upon times that, I just didn't have the resources to go out and creatively record
mm-hmm.
this too. And it was very heartbreaking. Um, but you make your way through those if you have enough determination. And the other thing I would say is this, and I only can hope that I have the opportunity to do this someday. I remember very clearly having written songs very passionately and feeling like I had some worthy songs of being pitched to the Nashville types.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting in my car literally and crying my eyes out on Music Row in Nashville because they're very cruel there. I mean,
Yeah,
Nashville can be very, very cruel. And it's hard to explain, but I have recently had another experience and I had forgotten what that was all like. So I've made a lot of connections and I've accomplished a lot more than I ever thought that I would. And I mean, I know a lot of famous people.
yeah,
I don't like to ask those people for favors or use them and feel like I'm fleeting them or fleecing them, whatever the word is. I
right.
don't like asking for favors because then they'll be like, oh, stay away from me. You want to ask for help again.
Yeah,
But I try doing things the protocol way, and I have a song that I've written, and I really feel like it could be. I don't want to say the word hit.
mm-hmm.
I just feel strongly about this song
Yeah,
based on the way people react to it. So I was going to just like do it the right way. And I called this person and that person and made my way through some different channels and finally figured out who it was I needed to maybe email this song to get this to this particular star that I've never had any dealings with at all, but I felt like would make a great match for this song. And so I emailed this company on Music Row. Get a load of this. And I'm talking to all the young people out there now that are starting, or even if you're not
yeah,
young, but you're starting something new.
yeah.
I just want to tell the story. I emailed and I said, Dear so and so, I have a song that might be a great fit for so and so. If you have time to listen to the song, fantastic, I'll send it over. If not, no harm, no foul.
Right.
Thank you for your time and consideration, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. Made it short and sweet. And this person wrote me back. It's a man. He wrote
Mm-hmm.
me back and said, and like three very brief, even if you can call them sentences, I don't know, but it was the rudest response. I will never, ever forget this. Dear so and so, meaning me. We listened online. We listened online, 3 words, not what we're looking for, 5 words, and best of luck. And
Oof.
he signed his name, not his name, but the letter S, which is what his
Yeah.
name starts with, in quotes. And I wrote back, Dear S, because now I'm older and I have a little mileage on me, and I've been around the block to take my first rodeo, and I'll
Good
tell
for you.
people what I think.
There
It's,
you go.
as a young person, I can tell you right now, 20 years ago, I would have sat and cried in my chair
Yeah.
for hours over that response. But here's
Yeah.
what I realized as an older person with more wisdom, and now I've been around the block, I realized that there's nothing to be upset about. He didn't listen to the song because I didn't send it to him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. But I'll tell you how rude that was. So I wrote back and I said, Dear S, I hope this is not the way that you respond to the young people or the people that are seeking a fresh start in this business. I hope that when people reach out to you to send you what came from their heart, that this is not your response. Because let me tell you what, I don't need a response from you. I have done plenty. If I do nothing more, I've done a plenty, and I'm happy with where I am. I just simply wanted to send you this song. And I just went off. I went off in this email, and I said, he's had 3 cuts with a star. The cuts are very, very old. Many, many years ago they were.
Mm-hmm.
I know the songs. Anyway, I said, I am so glad for you that the person that you sent your first song to didn't respond this way, because nobody would know who you are.
Yeah.
So you're very lucky that you are not the person that you reached out to. I mean, I gave it to him. And now I am determined to get this song cut. I will move heaven and earth. I'm going to get this song cut by somebody big. I will do it just so that I can send him an email back to the response that I already sent and say, well, maybe you like this guy singing it because you didn't want to hear me doing it. Maybe you prefer hearing him. And it's going to be somebody famous. Just watch me, because my little family down here in North Carolina, we grew up on a farm, and my great aunt described some of us best. When you tell a Hughes you can't do something, that's when they try 10 times harder to do it. But it just got all over me.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so disheveled and so, sad and broken when I would get these type of responses from these Nashville types. I mean, there is no reason in the world why anybody needs to be that rude.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I would have preferred? I would have preferred that S not have responded at all. That would have been way better than getting this really rude response. I'm like, well, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
Listened online. What'd you listen to? The Walmart checkout line song? I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't think that was a hit. It was a hit with some people, but not him. Anyway, I am in the stage of I've always been somebody that I like to encourage people.
Mm-hmm.
I've always done that. And when they're trying to get started, there's a lot of people that, I mean, gosh, should have really been famous, but I just wonder if they didn't get the encouragement they needed.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that got all over me.
I think that's good advice, especially for young people. Is, I think the other side of that advice is also not give up, because that first no, or that 5th no, or that 10th no doesn't have to be the last one if you don't let it. A lot of us get rejection for a lot of different things all the time. And I think you do, as we get older, I'm wise and old over here too, experienced a lot of rejection. I think you develop a thicker skin. But when I remember being younger and being, told things that were very discouraging and very rude as well. Oh, you'll never be able to do this. Oh, you'll never amount to anything. Oh,
So much fun though when they do that, so that you have an opportunity to prove them wrong. It's the best thing in the world. Is the best fuel for passion and that go get them attitude. I probably wasn't going to be as determined to get that song cut before that. He did me a favor.
And it can do that for a lot of people. For other people, it can totally shut them down. But
yes,
I think that's great encouragement, is to not let those rejections or whatever, those no's,
I'll put him on blast.
Say.
If I get my song cut by a big type, I'm going to put him on blast. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out by his name. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to wait.
I will look forward to that.
It'll go viral because people love that. People love the bully getting told. I mean, they like to be bullied. People don't like to be bullied.
Yeah.
They don't like bullies.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be bullied at this stage of my life. I'm too old.
Yeah. Same. I want to take a few moments. You sent some really fabulous top 5 songs of encouragement. And I want to take a few minutes just to listen to short clips of these songs and then let you talk about them. So I'm going to share screen, and we're going to go over to the first song that you wanted to share. This is one of your own originals, and this is called One Less Dog in the Cold. And we're going to hear, I don't know, more than just the 10-second clip, because we're allowed to play this because you own it. So, this is, we'll see how far we go here, but this is such a great song. And then I'll let you talk about it afterward. Here we go.
The song again is Jenee on the violin.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Jenee Fleenor.
I saw him every day when I was driving by. Sometimes in the pouring rain, sometimes in the sunshine. I always wished he was mine. I should have took him home. But one day I rode by and he was gone. He lived his life on a 10-foot chain in the blazing sun and the pouring rain. He froze in the winter cold from the time he was young to the time he was old. Couldn't save him, but I wish I had. Now he's free from all the bad. Tonight in the falling snow, there'll be one less dog in the cold.
Oh, I'm going to go ahead and stop this here just because I want to give you time to talk not only about this song, but also you created another song similar, and talk about like your activism around. I'm a dog person, so share a little bit about both of these songs. And again, feel free to mention the musicians that are on these pieces and the result of what happened after these songs were released.
Well, so I was driving to work each day, noticing this dog on a chain, and it would be 105 degrees outside, and he would be out there, or it'd be snow on the ground. He would be out there on a chain, and I just could not believe that somebody could leave that dog out there on the end of a chain. And I mean, what happens when lightning is flashing? I mean, do they get struck? I mean, but dog chaining, it used to be a really big issue around here, and I really don't want to take credit for this, but it is just so weird. I wrote that song. The first one I wrote was Dog on a 10-Foot Chain.
Mm-hmm.
And it went out there, and a lot of DJs played it on their radio stations, and it wasn't even the type of song that gets played. Like, it was too long. It didn't check any of the boxes that DJs normally like to check when they pick a song, but they liked the message.
Yeah.
So it got a lot of attention. And then I did this one as a follow-up to that. This one's One Less Dog in the Cold. And so I wound up, I can't remember exactly how to explain it, but like Twitter was before Elon Musk and everything. Twitter was a deal at one point, and for me, and I remember tweeting these songs out, and I remember Winona Judd reposted it.
Wow.
One of the Real Housewives posted it.
Mm.
There were quite a few famous people that were reposting it, and so it really kind of got more and more attention. But I went before the county commissioners here in my county, which is Randolph County, North Carolina, a little old rural Randolph County. And I went before the commissioners, and they passed a law that said you cannot chain your dog anymore. And then I also spoke at the little city down there in our county called Ashboro, and it was a city council meeting, and I went, and they passed it as well.
Mm.
So I never knew that you could actually influence legislation with a song. I never knew that. And furthermore, where you would see, I'd say, at least 2 to 5 dogs on chains within a 5 to 10 mile radius anywhere in this county, you no longer can really know. I would know if you said, where are all the chain dogs in the county? I knew I could drive you to their houses. I could drive you to where these dogs were on chains, because every time I would go by, I'd just be like, and now I can't think of any. I know of one place that it's in a terrible area, and I know of one place that I go by there, and they will have their dog chained, and I'll usually call animal control on them. Yeah. But for the most part, it is not the problem it was, and it's crazy. It's crazy how all of that. We had a lot of people get all fired up at the same time that I put my song out, and a lot of us joined forces and made it what it was. But it was just amazing to me that you could change behaviors of people and what people are able to do legally with a song.
Yes. Literally using our voices can create the change that we're looking for in the world. What a testament, not only to the power of your songwriting and your vocals and putting together these really important songs that our world needs, but also just a testament to the passion that you have for the things that you see every day around you that are happening and being willing to speak out. So thank you for doing your part in your community and letting that spread, to other parts of the world and other places, other people, because what a great example for those who are coming up behind us, young people who might be afraid to write songs like that or to take that kind of action. There are some artists who are completely afraid to do what you've done. And I understand that because they work with labels or they feel like they need to work with a particular label or have a certain persona. But I hope you'll find this as encouragement if you are a young artist, to now more than ever, we need more voices to speak up.
Yes, we do.
We want to switch to another song that you wrote during the pandemic. And this was such a fun song to listen to in
Hilarious.
its entirety. And we'll link the whole thing for the show notes. But this is really, again, a fun song. I'm going to let you name all the musicians afterward, but what a great group of musicians here. So here we go with a coronavirus beer song.
There is a ruckus down at the Walmart. The shelves are empty, lines are long. No toilet paper, no sanitizer. People are fighting. This is wrong. There ain't no ball games, ain't no parades. There ain't no school. It's sad to say, no planes are flying. Living in fear. I miss the days when it only was beer.
I am going to stop it there. We want everybody to go to the show notes, go link and listen to the whole thing. Talk about that song. I love that y'all are in a barn. I love the costumes and I just love everything about this. Talk about the musicians and how this came together.
So it's a little band called Hot Wax and the Splinters, and they are hilarious. They're obviously very comical. And I called and said, do you guys want to do a song with me in my barn? And do you have lab coats? And, how can we make this look like a medical environment? And so the guy that leads the band, his name is Clyde Lewis. He plays the mandolin. He's the one that was doing all that crazy dance. So on the dobro is a guy named Nathan Farlow, the big tall guy with the beard.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the bass back there making all his funny faces was Jeff Rumsey. Guitar is Ed Wren. And then on the banjo, I'm trying to think, his name is David. And I'm so sorry I cannot think of his last name. He has not been with them in a while. So I've forgotten, bless his heart. I'll have to catch up and get his name. But they were so much fun. And, they were just up for it. And it's really like a time capsule into the way that we were all thinking and what we were all feeling at the time. The ball games were canceled and school was canceled and no planes were flying in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was no toilet paper and it was just a scary world. Nobody ever in the world thought these things could happen and they just never could believe it. So it's really good to look back on it and see that we all made it through. We all made it safe. Now, many people, did pass away with that illness. So it was a serious thing. And it's funny in the song, it says the world is ending. It won't be long.
Yeah.
So at times I think we all thought that the world was ending.
Truly, because, the fear was very real. And I remember myself and my family sheltering in place. And I remember my studio going fully online. And I remember just being very intentional about connecting with people. And you just never knew, right? You just never knew. Like, is this the last time I'm going to see somebody? Is this the last time I'm going to talk to someone? You would hear about people getting sick. I remember my mother was in assisted living at the time, and just, it was a lot for a lot of people. And, to have a song that we can kind of look back on and laugh about and that brings joy, but is also really great music, is a wonderful thing to be able to look back on and to see. So what a fun song. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
The next song that you have chosen, we can't play the whole 6.5 minutes. So you're going to hear a 10-second clip, and then we're going to ask you to go ahead and click the link in the show notes and go listen to the whole thing. This is called The Stable Song by Gregory Alan Isikoff with the Colorado Symphony. Again, we're only going to share a 10-second clip, and then I'll let you talk about it afterward. But go watch the whole video, go listen to the whole song. It is epic. Here we go.
Ring like silver, ring like gold. Ring out those ghosts on the Ohio. Ring like clear day.
I have to stop it there, but talk about this particular song. How did you come across this one?
I'm trying to think of how, I know one of my favorite lines before I forget in the song is, I reached for the stars, but the whole sky fell.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just really always on you. I tell you, this is so funny. The way that I find music now, I don't know how to explain other than to say that I go on TikTok and I look at videos a lot. And a lot of times people have the little song behind their video and I'll go, whoa, I love that song. What is that? What is that song? So I think that's how I didn't hear this song necessarily on TikTok, but I heard a song on TikTok that I went and found. And then this one popped up. And I said, well, let me listen to this. And that's just how I've been finding my music lately, is through TikTok.
Okay. Yeah.
So it led to me listening to this, and I was blown away. And this is the kind of song that I yearn very longingly to write, something that makes me feel, something that makes other people feel the way this song made me feel. It goes back to that every time. I've explained that probably 3 times now, that it's the feeling that I'm trying to write. Mm-hmm. I'm writing a feeling to people, not just a song. And that song is so beautiful. And his joining up with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra. Boy, I kind of wanted to do a symphony orchestra, Divide We Fall. And I was able to reach out to several classical musicians. But what I learned is if you're going to get a symphony or some type of string quartet or something, then you have to provide them with the sheet music.
Yeah.
And so that I was in more of a hurry with that. And I didn't know how I would go about coming up with the sheet music. So I went back and used Jenee again and the cello, because they can play by ear and pick right up on it. So that's what happened. But I'm not disappointed at all. I just would love to someday maybe have an orchestra on one.
Well, we can always use connections and find just some people who can score, for full orchestra. And what a great, it'll happen. It'll happen someday if it's meant to happen. But go listen to the whole song. The lyrics and the visuals in the video are all really, really powerful. So I'd never heard it before. And now I'm hooked. I'm like, okay, now I got to check out the whole discography. And so.
He's from Australia.
Oh, okay.
He was performing here locally, but I had the flu and I missed that. But he's amazing though. Really and truly amazing.
Yeah. This next song we're going to move to is another really great find. I had never heard this song either, so I really appreciate hearing this for the first time. This is Susan Werner singing a song called Barbed Wire Boys, and go listen to the whole track. And I'm going to start listening to more of her discography as well, because the voice is so pure and so beautiful. So we're just going to listen to this 10-second clip and then I'll let you talk about it. Here we go.
Catching the voice that is the unsung song of the barbed wire boys.
Oh my goodness. Go listen to the whole song. It's incredible. Not just the lyrics, but also just the music that it's set to. Really wonderful. Talk about this one.
Well, the melody is absolutely stunning, and I love so much, and it sticks in my head. So that's how I gauge whether a song's good. But some of the lyrics in this song are so amazing, such as, I've got them pulled up here. She says, she's talking about barbed wire boys, meaning the rural old gentleman that she grew up knowing.
Yeah.
Like many of us have. And she says, they raised grain and cattle on the treeless fields, sat at the table and prayed before meals. They prayed, Our Father, and that was enough. If you prayed more than that, then you couldn't stay tough. Tough as the busted thumbnails on their weathered hands. They worked the gold plate off their wedding bands, and they never complained, and they never made noise. They never left home, these barbed wire boys. And I love this part here because their wildest dreams were all fenced in by the weight of family, by the feeling of sin that'll prick your skin at the slightest touch if you reach too far. If you feel too much, so their deepest hopes never were expressed, just beating like birds' wings in the cage of their chests. All the restless longings and secret joys that never were set free in the barbed wire boys. And there's more, but I won't read the whole thing. It's just those lyrics are so profound.
Yeah.
And that's so true. I mean, like, you have these, my dad was one such type of person that was real obligated to family, he might have chased a few other dreams. He wanted to play Major League Baseball.
Oh, wow.
And I'm trying to work on one right now about that. But anyway, that Susan, she can really write some lyrics. Let me tell you what, that song is so well written. And another gauge to whether a song is good to me is if I ever get tired of it, and I never get tired of that song ever. I can listen to it 1,000 times and never get tired of it.
Yeah.
That's how come I know that's a great song.
Oh, it really is. It really is. We have one last song to share here today. And anybody who's a Tom Waits fan will know this song. This is called Picture in a Frame. And again, we're only going to listen to a 10-second clip, but if you know the song, you know how powerful this is. This is Picture in a Frame. We're going to pick this up at about the 3-minute mark. Here we go.
Ever since I put your picture in a frame, ever since I put your picture in a frame.
Oh, go listen to the whole song. He talks about the last chorus about how much he loves, the subject of his song, and just such a great song and an epic voice. Talk about this one.
Yeah, this is the song that he wrote, basically describing, he knew he had found somebody. He knew he had found his soulmate when he put her picture in a frame. Yeah. That moment when you meet somebody and you have a relationship, the relationship is really going somewhere, or it's going to stick if you get their picture and it actually winds up in a frame. So I thought this was brilliant. And if you read the lyrics, sun come up, it was blue and gold. And he says that 3 times.
Yeah.
And then he says, ever since I put your picture in a frame. And then he says, I come calling in my Sunday best. And he says it 3 times. And then he says, ever since I put your picture in a frame. And I mean, that's just how it starts. I mean, sometimes the best songs come from the simplest words, like 3 words. So that's why I love that song, because it says so much with such few words. And if you have somebody that's starting out, a lot of people that I've met, I've taught a lot of songwriting workshops, and a lot of people that want to start writing songs, their biggest weakness is like mine was, like anybody. You have a song that you put way too many words in it.
Yeah.
I had a guy call me, or he sent me some words to a song he said he had, and he wanted me to put music to it. And I said, well, you have about 57 syllables here in this one line. But think about how many syllables you got. Sun come up, it was blue and gold. And I'm all about counting syllables. If you have a melody and you record that melody into your phone, go back and write sentences that match up to those syllable wise. Now look, this one has sun come up, it was blue and gold. That's 8 syllables.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that you want to do 8 syllables in 4 rows, likely. And you want to have 3 sets of those, and that's what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the chorus. I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you. That's 5 syllables. Till the wheels come off. 5 syllables again. That's pretty much the chorus, is I'm going to love you till the wheels come off. That's pretty much the chorus. So You've got 8, 8, 8 choruses, 5 and 5. That's how you break it down.
Yep.
Syllable wise, beat wise, whatever. So, I mean, think about that. That's very few syllables.
Mhm.
Like a lot of my songs when I started, I had like 12 syllables a line, and some of them still do. Some of them still do. It's a weakness of mine, having too many, words, but sometimes they still come out. But the best songs say the least. They
Yep.
do. They really do.
It's the same, any kind of writing. I feel like if you have a good editor or you can edit yourself well, it's so essential to edit, because it's through that edit process usually that's where you find the gem in the rough and what really needs to be said or communicated. As a former writer, not of songs, but other things, I had some really incredible editors that were able to take my wordiness and cut it to the quick and really make my thoughts sound brilliant, just because they knew how to be such great editors and cut things down. And I appreciate that now too in music, and people who, when they compose, can also edit themselves, or who hire people to edit their work really well, because it makes a huge difference overall. Like, we can all put out a lot, but there's already a lot out there. So when you can put together a simple message, a simple song, a simple lyric, it is, I think, more powerful and impactful.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So thank you for sharing those 5 songs of encouragement from your world. Is there any other encouragement that you would like to share with creatives today?
Just make the music to reach people, and make something memorable for yourself as well. So I think that it comes from your heart when you do that, and I feel like lots of great things can happen. But just keeping on doing it too, doing lots and lots of it, and on and on and on through the years, not just writing one song and being done with that. If you're able to produce a good song, you keep doing it.
Great advice. Thank you so much. Where can people find you, and maybe upcoming gigs, or where do you want people to look for you?
My website has pretty much everything, including all of my lyrics. All my lyrics are on my website, which is really handy when I get to these gigs and I can't remember my song. I just pull it up. But DonnaHughes.com, and that's spelled DonnaHughes, DonnaHughes.com. And so you can find anything about me on there. Send me a hello.
Great. And I know you're on some social platforms as well. So you can please go follow Donna on the socials where you like to spend your time. And, just continue to be encouraged not only by Donna's music and, what she does, but go support your local musicians wherever you are. Go to those concerts, get those tickets, buy those old CDs. Some people are still doing CDs. So
add those songs to your Spotify playlist so they can spread around there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Donna, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much, not only for your great music, but your time.
Thank you as well. It's been a pleasure for me. I've really enjoyed our discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. That does it for this episode of Sounds of Encouragement. Remember, I'm here for you, so you can be there for those who need you the most. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching or listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Please click on the show notes to learn more about my guest and to listen to their top songs of encouragement. If you have found value in these podcasts, please share the podcast with those you know. Leave a positive review, or support the show at buymeacoffee.com. Sounds of Encouragement is a podcast production of Music Grow LLC, part of growing musicians and teachers everywhere. Sounds of Encouragement is hosted, produced, and edited by Melissa Slocum. To get in touch, contact soundofencouragement@gmail.com. Theme music by Melissa Slocum and Steve Tressler. Music mixed and mastered by Steve Tressler. Thank you to Steve Tressler and Christina Lopriori, who encouraged me to do this in the first place. And remember, I'm here for you, so you can be there for those who need you the most.